There's something hauntingly elegant about mid-century fashion. When you look at a 1950s photograph, a woman in a perfectly tailored, aligned dress, or a man in a sharply cut suit, it doesn't look old, it looks iconic. Somehow, it transcends decades. From Pinterest mood boards to luxury runways, mid-century silhouettes keep returning. But why? Why does fashion from over 70 years ago still feel current? The answer lies in principles that never go out of style: balance, elegance, intention, and quality. There's also the emotional pull of post-war optimism, of old Hollywood glamour, of refinement that feels rare today. Mid-century fashion was built on grace, not gimmicks. And in 2025, we crave that more than ever. So today, we're not reminiscing. We're reclaiming. We're unpacking what made mid-century style so powerful and how to make it feel modern now. Because elegance isn't dated, it's eternal. And understanding this era's foundation may just change the way you dress forever. Mid-century style starts with silhouette, and it's where the magic begins. These weren't just clothes. They were architectural compositions sculpted around the human form. Designers of the 1950s and 60s mastered proportion, often rooted in the golden ratio, naturally pleasing balance between parts. This is why the hourglass shape, with its cinched waist, curved hips, and clean shoulder lines, remains visually compelling. It speaks to symmetry, elegance, and poise. A midi dress with a waist belt or a coat with a subtle flare channels that same mid-century genius. These designs weren't about restriction, they were about composition. The shape made you move with intention. It gave you presence. And today, when you nail the silhouette, the rest almost fades. That's why season after season, designers revisit these shapes, not out of nostalgia but because they still flatter. Because they still work. And because nothing feels more modern than wearing something designed to make you feel completely composed. Mid-century fashion was a lesson in structure, meeting movement in art form rarely matched. Designers like Dior and Balenciaga didn't just make clothes. They engineered garments with architectural precision. Each piece was crafted like a sculpture: darts, seams, folds, all strategically placed to define, support, and flatter. Yet, these garments didn't feel stiff. They moved. A circle skirt twirled with you. A swing coat caught the breeze. The fabrics played a crucial role: file silk, wool, gabardine. They held shape while allowing life to pass through. This duality gave mid-century fashion its poetry. Today, that same philosophy drives modern tailoring. Blazers that shape, trousers that glide, dresses that float without clinging. The structure is still there, but it breathes. And that's why mid-century fashion endures. It wasn't designed to sit in closets or hang on mannequins. It was meant to live, to move, to express. Timelessness doesn't mean stillness, it means relevance. And structure with soul. That's as relevant now as it was then. Long before social media declared quiet luxury the latest trend, mid-century fashion had already mastered it. This era wasn't about flaunting logos or flashy designs, it was about subtlety, refinement, and longevity. Women invested in well-cut coats, wool pencil skirts, and silk blouses they'd wear for years. Men owned tailored suits, polished shoes, and perfectly pressed shirts that looked sharp without needing attention. The idea was to dress well, not loudly. Quality spoke for itself. Today's return to understated elegance isn't a new idea, it's a revival of mid-century values. A camel coat that goes with everything. A sheath dress that whispers power. Pearl studs, leather gloves, and simple handbags. It wasn't minimalism for minimalism's sake. It was about clarity. In a noisy world, mid-century fashion offered peace. It didn't beg for compliments, it earned admiration. And that's why it still feels modern. Quiet confidence is never out of place. It walks in, makes a statement, and never needs to explain itself. Mid-century women's fashion walked a fine line: soft yet structured, romantic yet strong. It celebrated femininity without ever feeling fragile. Clothes weren't designed to hide strength, they expressed it. A cinched waist, a full skirt, a crisped collar, each detail reinforced elegance and capability. Even floral dresses had seams that meant business. This balance still resonates. In 2025, pairing a delicate blouse with structured trousers or wearing a pleated skirt with sneakers captures that same dynamic. The fabrics may have evolved, but the message hasn't. You can be graceful and powerful. Mid-century fashion taught us that dressing femininely doesn't make you less serious, it makes you self-assured. It proved you don't need to wear a blazer to be respected. You can wear silk and still lead, and that's why these styles remain relevant. They're not about going back in time. They're about owning your identity unapologetically, beautifully, and on your own terms. Mid-century menswear was the blueprint for effortless polish. Every look, from full suits to casual separates, was built on clean lines, perfect fit, and understated charm. Think Cary Grant in gray flannel, or Paul Newman in a white t-shirt and slacks. Nothing felt forced, but every detail mattered. The palette navy, camel, charcoal, crisp white remains, timeless today. The tailoring skimmed the body, flattering without restricting. Modern menswear still draws from this well: slim-fit suits, minimalist watches, penny loafers, and aviator frames. The difference now is comfort stretch fabrics, softer weaves, but the silhouette is unmistakably mid-century. There's a quiet confidence in the way these outfits come together. They don't try too hard, and that's the point. Dressing well wasn't about impressing others, it was about self-respect. That energy lives on in today's best-dressed men. They're not chasing trends. They're refining classics. And when done right, mid-century menswear doesn't look vintage, it looks like good taste. Pure and simple. The nipped waist might be the most iconic detail of mid-century style. It defined the silhouette of the era and remains one of fashion's most flattering techniques. Whether created through tailoring, belts, darts, or seamwork, the cinched waist created harmony, balancing shoulders and hips, enhancing curves, and creating that hourglass effect that felt intentional, not exaggerated. A nipped waist doesn't just flatter, it suggests thoughtfulness, precision. A tucked-in shirt or belted coat says, "I styled this with purpose." And that's powerful. Today, this technique shows up in everything from wrap dresses to belted blazers to corset-inspired tops. It's a styling tool that works across body types, defining or faking a waist as needed. Even shapewear owes its influence to this mid-century signature, because at the heart of it, this isn't just a shape, it's a philosophy. When your clothes frame you with care, you carry yourself differently. You feel composed, and that feeling is what great style is really about. Mid-century designers understood the visual power of color, especially when used in blocks. Color blocking wasn't just bold, it was elegant and intentional. Navy with cream, cobalt with charcoal, burgundy with blush. These weren't random pairings, they were graphic statements without needing patterns. The technique brought clarity and structure to outfits, emphasizing silhouette and proportion. Designers like Courageous and Cardin made entire collections sing with contrast and restraint. Today, we still lean on this approach to look modern and refined. A red blouse with camel trousers. A monochrome look broken by a vibrant coat. Color blocking helps direct the eye, define your shape, and create visual interest without chaos. It's also practical, it simplifies styling while amplifying impact. The mid-century version wasn't about being loud. It was about being seen clearly, and that's why it remains a powerful styling tool. It lets your outfit speak in full color but with perfect grammar. Few garments capture the spirit of mid-century femininity like the full skirt. There's something undeniably joyful about how it moves, how it sways, floats, and twirls with you. But beyond the romance, there's practicality. After wartime austerity, fabric was finally abundant, and designers embraced it. Dior's new look brought fullness back with celebration. The full skirt allowed freedom, it didn't cling or restrict. It flattered without trying too hard. Today, the same silhouettes are making a return, not just for events but for everyday wear. Midi skirts with volume, when paired with simple tees or slim sweaters, strike a perfect balance of elegance and ease. Designers now use lighter, flowier fabrics to make them more wearable and weather-friendly. And for all body types, a full skirt offers ease and grace. It proves that drama doesn't have to mean discomfort, and that movement, that toilet, still feels like fashion at its most joyful and empowering. Asterisk, in mid-century fashion, accessories weren't afterthoughts, they were punctuation. Each one had a purpose. A silk scarf at the neck, a single strand of pearls, structured handbags, slim belts, gloves. The philosophy was clear: less, but better. The goal wasn't to dazzle, it was to refine. Accessories completed the outfit, without competing with it. Today's minimalist wardrobes and capsule collections echo that same mindset. A clean outfit paired with one striking accessory feels modern because it's focused. A leather belt adds shape, a vintage brooch adds charm, pearl earrings bring light to the face. These are timeless moves. They don't change with trends. And when you keep your accessories intentional, you give your look clarity. Elegance doesn't require excess. It just requires the right touch. Mid-century style reminds us that it's not about how much you wear but how well each piece speaks. And sometimes, the quietest accessory carries the strongest message. Mid-century fashion wasn't just about silhouette. It was deeply rooted in fabric quality, the materials used defined how a garment looked, moved, and lasted. Wool had weight and warmth. Silk shimmered softly. Gabardine held its shape like sculpture. These weren't fast fashion fabrics, they were investments. Even a simple dress gained gravitas when made in real cotton or a luxurious blend. That's why mid-century garments still look incredible today. When preserved, they were built to last. Today, modern designers still pull from that legacy. A structured coat in heavyweight wool, a silk blouse that drapes perfectly, a crisp poplin shirt with body and breathability. When you pay attention to fabric, your whole outfit changes. It sits better, wears longer, and feels like something special. Learning to spot good materials is a style skill worth mastering, because mid-century fashion wasn't only about how it looked, it was about how it felt. On your body and in your life. Mid-century style didn't live in a vacuum, it was shaped by the silver screen. Hollywood became the most powerful fashion influencer of its time. Audrey Hepburn's black dress in Breakfast at Tiffany's. Instantly iconic. Grace Kelly's tailored coats in Hitchcock films. A blueprint for elegance. Even Marlon Brando's t-shirt in A Streetcar Named Desire redefined men's casual wear. Costume designers like Edith Head and Givenchy understood that clothes create character and that cinematic style lives forever. Today, we still reference these images. The little black dress, the fitted trench, the crisp button-up, they're all rooted in mid-century cinema. And they remain fresh because they were never just costumes. They were statements. Clothes that helped tell a story. That's why dressing with a touch of mid-century influence still feels special. You're not just styling an outfit, you're channeling a mood, a memory, and a moment of cultural power. You're wearing more than fashion. You're wearing cinematic history. The end of World War II ushered in more than PCIT sparked a collective desire to celebrate life again. Fashion became a symbol of post-war confidence. After years of rationing and utility, people craved beauty, optimism, and identity. Women embraced shape again, full skirts, fitted waists, and elegant heels. Men polished their looks with sharp suits and gleaming shoes. This wasn't frivolous, it was emotional. Dressing well became a daily ritual of resilience. Today, we see echoes of that same instinct. In uncertain times, we still turn to fashion for comfort and control. A good coat feels like armor. A tailored dress gives you focus. And mid-century style, structured, thoughtful, dignified, offers exactly that. It reminds us that elegance is not just visual, it's emotional. It's an act of When we embrace these timeless pieces today, we're not clinging to the past, we're channeling its spirit. A spirit that believes style is a powerful form of hope. Monochrome dressing is one of mid-century fashion's most enduring tricks, and it still feels incredibly modern. Wearing one color, or shades of the same hue, creates instant polish. It elongates the body, emphasizes silhouette, and makes your entire outfit look intentional. In the 50s and 60s, women wore cream on cream or navy on navy with matching gloves and handbags. Men paired charcoal suits with gray shirts and ties for a seamless look. Today, monochrome isn't about being matchy, it's about harmony. A camel turtleneck with tan trousers and beige boots. A white shirt with ivory jeans and off-white sneakers. It's sleek, it's calming, and it works on everyone. Mid-century fashion understood that when color steps back, structure and texture shine. Monochrome simplifies getting dressed, but amplifies your presence. It's confidence, distilled. And whether you're choosing neutrals or bold tones, dressing in a single palette always says the same thing. I'm in control, and I know exactly what I'm doing. The difference between mid-century style and retro lies in restraint. True mid-century fashion is timeless, focused on quality, tailoring, and elegance. Retro, by contrast, often exaggerates the past. Oversized, polka dots, cartoonish glasses, full crinolines. It can be fun, but it rarely feels wearable day to day. The key to keeping mid-century style modern is knowing what to keep and what to leave. Swap a literal 50s poodle skirt for a structured wool midi. Trade the kitschy prints for clean lines and looks fabrics. Skip the costume hair and go for a sleek bun or soft waves. Think of it as distillation, not imitation. You're not trying to live in the 50s, you're borrowing its best ideas and filtering them through your life now. That's how mid-century fashion stays relevant. It's not frozen in time. It evolves. And when you edit it with intention, you don't look old-fashioned. You look like someone with incredible taste. If there's one shoe that defines mid-century chic, it's the kitten heel. Modest in height, pointed in shape, and endlessly elegant, the kitten heel gave women lift without sacrificing comfort. Audrey Hepburn wore them with cropped trousers. Grace Kelly paired them with tailored coats. They were dainty, yes, but also practical. You could walk in them all day and still feel refined. That's why they're back and why they never really left. Today, you'll see kitten heels in every form: slingbacks, mules, patent, suede. What matters is the shape: slim, minimal, clean. Pair them with a pencil skirt, high-rise jeans, or a midi dress. They add a touch of polish without trying too hard. In a world of chunky sneakers and towering stilettos, the kitten heel is the quiet middle ground. It doesn't scream. It elevates. And in doing so, it proves the most powerful style choices are often the most understated. In the mid-century wardrobe, outerwear wasn't just practical, it was the piece de resistance. Coats weren't tossed on as an afterthought. They were designed to finish the look, even define it. Swing coats with volume, belted trenches, princess cut overcoats. Ch1 made a statement before you even said hello. Even winter layers carried grace. Today, we still look to those silhouettes for inspiration. A sharply cut wool coat can elevate even jeans and a sweater. A structured cape or tailored wrap coat adds instant drama. And when paired with gloves or brooches, the effect is cinematic. Modern materials have made these shapes lighter and more wearable, but the silhouette remains. Why? Because it works. Outerwear is the first impression. It frames your posture, your movement, your energy, and a beautifully tailored coat rooted in timeless design tells the world exactly who you are. Before you ever say a word, mid-century fashion lives on, not just through vintage shops, but in the work of today's most refined designers. Brands, like the Row Channel, its clean lines and impeccable tailoring. Celine, especially under Phoebe Philo, built entire collections on mid-century restraint and confidence. Amelia Wickstead reimagines 1950s femininity with modern tailoring. Even high street names like Cause and Other Stories reflect mid-century values: proportion, clarity, and fabric that holds shape. These brands don't copy, they reinterpret. They understand the core of mid-century elegance: flatter the form, respect the fabric, simplify the message. If you want to build a wardrobe today that feels both modern and timeless, start with designers who share that philosophy. They'll offer pieces that aren't trendy, but enduring. Mid-century style doesn't live in the past. It's woven into the DNA of fashion that lasts. And when you wear pieces influenced by that era, you're not just stylish, you're intentional, elevated, and unforgettable. Building a mid-century inspired wardrobe today doesn't require vintage hunting or era-specific outfits. It starts with choosing shape, fabric, and balance. Think structured blazers, aligned skirts, high-waisted trousers, clean blouses. Focus on garments that define the waist, elongate the body, and flatter your frame. Choose materials that feel substantial: wool, silk, poplin, gabardine. Invest in accessories that add refinement: leather belts, pearl earrings, pointed flats. Your color palette should be grounded neutrals with hints of mustard, navy, or burgundy. Monochrome looks are especially impactful. And most importantly, tailor your pieces. Mid-century style was all about fit, and nothing ruins elegance faster than poor proportions. You're not aiming to look vintage, you're curating clarity. You're refining your wardrobe down to pieces that make you feel put together every single day. That's the heart of mid-century dressing. It's not about replicating the past, it's about honoring it by dressing with focus, grace, and timeless confidence. Mid-century fashion endures not just because of how it looks, but because of how it makes us feel. There's a sense of strength in a structured coat, a sense of dignity in a full skirt, a calm elegance in monochrome dressing. These clothes were made with purpose and they gave you presence. That feeling doesn't fade, it transcends trend. When you wear a mid-century inspired look today, you're not just channeling an era, you're embracing clarity, composure, power, without noise. In a world overwhelmed by change, mid-century fashion offers stability. It reminds us that elegance is a constant, that dressing well can ground you, elevate you, and remind you who you are. Whether it's one piece or your whole wardrobe, mid-century style helps you stand taller and move with intent. Because timelessness isn't about the decade, it's about the energy. And when you wear that energy, you don't follow fashion, you lead it.